The clock tower indicates 5 minutes to 5, as you can see. Hello, Helen. I'm showing you the clock watch, the watchtower, the clock tower of the church. Hello, I'm already inside of the yard of the St. Bartholomew Church, from where I will be today transmitted the live for you. I hope you do not wake up too early in Canada, in America for me, and I hope to not regret this, because I want to show you very interesting things today. Till the time will be right for the tour, I will show you a couple of things from the courtyard of the church, where I will enter soon. How it is the time in your places right now? Probably on United States have to be about 8 a.m., 9. Welcome, Sabina. Okay. And here I have another graves. Oh, so it's 10 a.m. in the eastern of United States. Ah, good. Good to know. So it's not too early. I miscalculated then. Thank you, Sharon. Then 5 p.m. here, it's a good time for you in the States. Okay, we have under 3 minutes till the official start hour of the tour. Yeah, I asked just to know how to schedule better my future tours. That's all. That's the year when everything were renovated here for the last time. Okay. I will try to move a little bit. It's a nice weather for the moment, even that from here you cannot see the sky, which is pretty cloudy to the north, but I hope the rain will not start till the moment when we land the tour here. Anyway, it's under 1 minute and a half. I will tell you I will start to tell you the story little by little. The idea with this church is that it is placed into a place from Brașov which is full of history and full of killings, mass killings, I can say, in the same time. First time when the Germans were colonized in here by the Hungarian Kingdom, as you probably knew already, the Germans which founded the city of Brașov were settled for the first time right here on this place, where they built a settlement. Welcome, Don. We just started the tour. I said that the Germans which arrived in Transylvania in around 1200, they settled for the first time their locality, their place, in the place where we are right now in Brașov, near the St. Bartholomew Church. And I said it's a place full of killings, full of mass killings during the history, because this is a very true fact. So the first place where they settled their village, it was at the foot of this hill that you can see it right in front of you. And I will show it to you. Oh no, again it's upside down. I don't know what's happened with my gimbal, but he's doing it all the time. Let me set it on the right position. Okay. So I want to show you a picture with this hill, which it looks like this. It was developed a stone quarry starting with the 18th century by the Austro-Hungarians, and that's why we have today only a half of the hill. But anyway, very important is the fact that on the top of the hill, on the highest point, starting with the Roman times, we were up there. We went up there, a fortification of the Romans, a Roman castrum. And because of that Roman castrum, later the medieval people, the Romanians, and especially those German colonists and the Teutonic Knights, which you know already, they were colonized in Romania by the Hungarian Kingdom, and they stayed here near Brașov between 1211 and 1225, and they had their main fortress to Fedioara, fortress that I had in plan already to go and present it to you. And they built a fortress on the top of this hill. This is a plan of that old fortress, which was built up on this hill. So, of course, that near the settlement, the people used to build a church, a fortified church, like you are used already to hear. And that fortified church is the one from Bartholomew. Of course, with the help of the Teutonic Knights, which was here in that period of time. Anyway, around 1235, we have the first time documentary attested this church, and I hope you can take some postcards from this position. And they built the church into the Romanic style of architecture. As you can see, the tower, it's a square tower. On the first level, it have a round window, typical for the Romanic churches. And the second level of the square tower, of the clock tower, we have a new Gothic window, just because the church was renovated into the 18th century. And of course, the last level of the tower, we have the clock, which is up there since 1711 for the first time, and the actual one, it's up there since 1806, when the Germans put it up there, and it's still functioning if you look carefully to the clock. So the settlement of the Germans stayed here in this part of Brașov till 1421, when the Turkish invasion destroyed that settlement and forced the Germans to move on the new position, more exactly into the downtown of Brașov from today. You saw probably my tour about the downtown of Brașov since a week ago. So they moved about 4 kilometers south into a valley surrounded by the mountains, finding a better place to resist in front of the invaders. I stay here just to let you to take some pictures of the church if you want to. And continuing the story of the church, first of all, the church is the oldest building from Brașov, because, as I told you, being documentary attested in 1235, like the city itself, is the same documentary, is the same year documentary attested. And also in 1421, after the invasion of the Turks, 40 years later, in 1461, it was forced to be sieged by the army of Vlad the Impaler Dracula, which attacked Brașov just to punish the German merchandisers from here, which doesn't want to respect their. I will try, Diana, to keep it more steady. He tried to punish the German merchandisers, which doesn't respect the commercial treaty signed with him. So that's why he attacked Brașov. Brașov in that moment consists in this part of the city, in the fortification which was settled around of this church from Saint Bartholomew, and the walls that you can see it around of the church now are the original walls from 1700, which remained, of course, on a lower level than it used to be on those days. So the church resisted very well to this siege of Vlad the Impaler in 1461, and because the Wallachian, the Romanian ruler, wasn't capable to conquer the church, he impaled, killing all the civilian population, which he was able to capture around of this church. So that's why it's very possible that here, near this hill, which I show you to you a little bit later, to be done a mass impalement, a mass killing by Vlad the Impaler Dracula here in Brașov. So that's why I said that the church saw a lot of mass killings, because if I'm thinking to the fact that in 1241 the big Mongol invasion of the sons of Genghis Khan destroyed everything in their way, including the old Russia settled around of Kiev in Ukraine from today, and then entered in Romania, in the actual territory of Romania, on three lines, destroying the same everything in their way. And after that moment of the Mongol invasion, was took the decision by the leaders of the European states to build all the future buildings, all the future fortresses, all the future palaces on the top of a hill or of a mountain, just to be much easier to defend themselves in front of such efficient invaders in killing and destroying like the Mongols was. So that's why since 1241 everything in Europe was starting to be built on the top of a hill, and of course that hill was clean of any kind of vegetation, just to be able to see the enemy coming. I will end the tour from the outside of the church, and I will go inside of it. Welcome Joyce, Francis, Edward. And as you can see, it's a real park now here around of this church, which is the second one from the Brașov County after the Black Church of dimensions, because it have about 55 meters long. It have a tower, only a tower like the Black Church, but here it ends the similarities between those two. What I can tell you is the fact that this church, as you can see and as I can show you in a minute, it was at the beginning a Romanic church, because the Teutonic Knights in the 13th century couldn't build other than Romanic, because that was the main style of Europe in that moment. And then was starting to develop the Gothic, and you can see those beautiful round windows, which looks like a multiple leaf flower at the windows, which are typical for the Gothic. And near one of those round windows, it's a Gothic church. It's a Gothic window, sorry. And here you can see another two windows which are built into the Romanic style. It's a mixture of styles, just because of the fact that the church was repaired a couple of times during of the history. After all those invasions, in 1241 the Mongols, in 1421 the Turks, in 1460 Vlad the Impaler Dracula, in 1611 Gabriel Báthory, Prince of Transylvania, which tried to become the king of the province. Then an earthquake around 1680. All of those destroyed the church and actually forced the people to rebuild it every time. Now I will enter inside of it. One of the legends is saying that this church was built by three orphan girls, which gave all their money for the construction of the church and were buried under the main shrine, under the main altar. The church is a real big one, and also very beautiful. The altar it was replaced in 1800. The one from 1711. It's a representation of crucifixion of Christ, with two angels guarding it on the left and on the right of the cross, and also on the both sides usually are staying Saint Peter and Paul, which are guarding the altar, and on the superior side also beautiful decorations of the Baroque and with a small influence of the classicist style. Also on the vault you can see beautiful decorations carved in stone, like here for example a flower, and it's good to know and it's good to tell you that the material which is made the altar is not stone or not marble, as you can believe. It's wood, carved and polished in such a way that gives you the sensation that it's stone or marble. Here are the pews of the most important characters of the community, which was assisting to the religious service. And of course on the back we have the organ, which also have about 24 registers, and it was built also into the 19th century and brought here into the church of Saint Bartholomew. As I told you on the visit at the church from Prejmer, the Germans were settled into the church in many different ways. But in here also, because we have a church with a transept, so with these two lateral sides, which together with the nave of the church gave us the shape of the Latin cross. The people are splitted, and the one from the lateral side, as you can imagine, do not see and to not be able to hear well what was happening in front of the altar. And this was one of the reasons which made the Dominicans to took the decision to starting to build the nave churches, which is, for example, the Black Church in Brașov, are those churches which are built from a single nave, from a single place, without lateral sides. Speaking about the lateral sides, maybe you saw this panel displayed on the wall. This is something that have all the churches in Transylvania, and I'm sure that not only in Transylvania, but certainly in German too. Here it's a list with the heroes German heroes which died in the First World War, or the Great War, as it is known, hello Paul, all over the world, which died in that war, and they were born and raised here in this area of Bartholomew. So that's why they have a special place of remember in the St. Bartholomew Church from here. Also, going into the church, we have also a small exhibition of fireplaces made by metal, which belongs to the Germans into the 18th, maybe 19th century here in Brașov. The area where we are living, it's called the Old Brașov in Romanian, or Brașov Vechi, because it's the oldest area of the city, it's the area where actually the Germans were settled for the first time when they arrived here in our city as colonists. And the church, I think it's the moment to show it to you much better from here. You can see it in that picture. It's a picture took from the hill here close to us. As well, we have here something also very precious, which can be found into the Black Church in a larger number than here, and probably in a couple of weeks I will be there to show it to you, are rugs, as you can see. Are rugs made in Anatolia, in Turkey, around 1700, in some cases 1650, so starting with 1650 till 1800, those rugs made in Anatolia were a symbol of the social status of the person which owned one of those, because they were extremely expensive rugs. The price could be compared with the price of a Ferrari today, a Ferrari car. So to own something like this, it was indicated to everybody else that you are a very rich guy. Now, then maybe you wonder how those rugs get into the collection of the church. In a couple of ways, I will tell you. First of all, being used at the funeral of the owner. So at the funeral of the owner was laid down on his rug during of the religious service, and at the end of the religious service, the rug remained into the property of the Black Church, of the St. Bartholomew Church. There's also another one. It was by donation, or in the case that the owner was died without having descendants. The rule was saying that the one which are dying without descendants, their patrimonium, their richness, it's going to the German community. Yes, it's a beautiful church, Paul. It's going to the German community, which will take care of it. In some cases, and this was one of the reasons which made the Germans from Transylvania to accept the reform of Martin Luther, the king, the Hungarian king, was interfering in this old tradition of the Germans, saying that the richness of the people without descendants is going to the church instead of the German community. So that's why in many cases this provoked a lot of discussions between the Germans, and when in 1534 came the opportunity to do something against this kind of abuses of the Hungarian king and of the Catholic Church, the Germans said No, Paul, you didn't miss anything. They changed the religion from Catholic to Protestant, Lutheran, Evangelic. This is a beautiful decoration of the pulpit. So, for this reason, today the church is a Lutheran evangelical church, and not Catholic anymore. As I told you, in those years when the book of Johannes Honterius, our humanist from Brașov, changed the religion of the Germans and of the Hungarians from Catholic to Protestant, not all the people from those villages of Germans and Catholics became Protestants. Of Germans and Hungarians became Protestants. Some of them continue to remain Catholics, and they received a chapel or a tower, a fortified tower of the fortified church, to build a Catholic chapel and to continue to conserve their religion in that place. And here I want to show you one of the most beautiful pews of this church, conserved like this. It's not a difference, Diane. Lutheran and Lutheran Evangelical, it's actually the same thing. No, it's not a split. Yes, it's still a German-speaking church today. This is a pew from 1683. As you can see, are two axes over there. So I'm pretty sure it belongs to one of the guilds of the artisans working with wood. The pew it's very, very beautiful painted. As you can see, Michela, you can see that are still German inscriptions onto the church. Yes, it's still a German-speaking church today. Unfortunately, the German community is not so big as it used to be in Romania, because the descendants of the Germans, which were colonized in mass proportion around 1200 by the Hungarian Kingdom in occupied Transylvania, because the Hungarian Kingdom occupied Transylvania from the Romanians for about 800 years. And those German colonists were brought here from the left side of the River Rhine. And they stayed here till 1992, when they decided to left Romania in mass proportions. Imagine that village was emptied over the night, because all those guys goes back to Germany and to Austria in the land of their ancestors, just being afraid that the communism could somehow come back. So they decided to go back to Germany, and no, they weren't evicted after World War II, Michela. No. They continued to live in Romania after World War II without any kind of troubles. A couple of them were sent to Siberia, like many Romanians from the Republic of Moldova, occupied Romanian territory occupied then by Stalin, were sent to Siberia, but not many of them. The majority remain in here because we, as a majority population of Romania and of Transylvania, we lived already very well together with the other minorities around us. They were our neighbors, our brothers, and we doesn't have too many things against them, and we couldn't send them to Siberia in the hands of the Russians. Plus, we don't love the Russians and the Soviets too much, so we didn't have a reason to do their service to them. Okay, and from here I will leave the church and I will go to the street, because I wanted to tell you something else connected with the fact that on this land, on this place, it displays a lot of mass killings, and a lot of blood was in this land. I want to tell you about a scene which was happened in the Great War, on some battles near this church between the German armies, Hungarian armies, and Romanian army. And also a monument which was built in the memory of this battle, a memory carved by a German initially, and then used for the Romanian army. Okay, I will leave the church now. I will go into the street, and I will give you some beautiful pictures and images of the church from the other side of the street too. Even that will stay longer than I predicted, about 30 minutes. In the Great War, the things were like this. We entered in this war only in 1916, just because we wanted to liberate Transylvania under the occupation of the Austrian-Hungarians. Just a moment, because I promised to the lady from here to announce her when I'm leaving the church, just to close the door. Să rămână, am plecat. Mulțumesc frumos, rămân dator. Okay. And our king from that moment, from 1916, was a German, Ferdinand I. And Ferdinand I was married with a niece of Queen Victoria, Princess Maria, the future Queen Mary. And they together decided to enter in this war against the country of our king Ferdinand, which was Germany. He was member of the Hohenzollern-Sigmaringen dynasty. And to enter in this war in 1916 just to liberate Transylvania under the domination. So we entered in the war in August 1916, negotiating before with the Allies, with the Americans, the British, the French, the Russians, and telling them that our condition to enter in this war is that at the end, after the victory, to be recognized the union of Romania with Transylvania. We entered very well we started the war attacking Transylvania, occupied by the Austro-Hungarians from 4 sides. And after many victorious battles, the Germans moved some well-trained divisions from the Western Front, led by Marshal von Falkenhayn here in Transylvania. And those soldiers, very well trained, starting to push back the Romanian army, which was fought into the past as an army of sustaining Germany into an attack against Russia. So as you can see, even from 1916 we were prepared to attack the Russians, not only from today. And of course, starting to push the Romanians back, they've done that. They chose the Romanians over the Carpathians, into the south of the Carpathians, and because the Bulgarians attacking us from the south, we're starting to lose a lot of territory. Capital Romania was attacked by was occupied by the Germans, and the entire government of Romania, the king, the army, they were pushed back in Moldova, in our Moldova. Actually, the medieval state of Moldova was divided by the Russians into one part, the eastern side, the western side remained in Romania, and the eastern side was took by them since 1812. That's the house of the priest of the St. Bartholomew Church, that beautiful building that you can see it from here. So one of the cities where the Romanian army gave a lot of harsh battles during the Great War, during the retreat over the Carpathians, was this one. So they were here about 5 Romanian divisions defending the hill where the first German settlement were built. And at the moment, they were surrounded and attacked very, very strong by some German and Hungarian divisions, which actually killed an entire Romanian company, about 250 soldiers. They killed it just without having the possibility to defend themselves, the Romanians, because after about 3 days of fight against the Hungarians, they remain without munition. So that mass killing was, as the Germans and the Hungarians especially said after that, it was like a punishment for the resistance of the Romanians. Something which, in my opinion, of course, I don't like to hear it, but if I'm right, is something which was happened in all the wars in this world. Even today in Ukraine, I'm bet it happened something like this. So are things of war which are happening, but the killing of 250 people, 250 soldiers, remain. Yes, it was a dirty move. The story of the German soldier was starting to shoot with the machine gun into the Romanian division was that after about 2 minutes of shooting, his machine gun was blocked and was starting to shoot a machine gun of a Hungarian soldier from another Hungarian division. And after that, both of them starting to shoot again and finish the job. Of course, in 1918, Romania won the war. On December 1st, 1918, Transylvania asked the union with Romania, which was done. That's why today, December 1st, is our national day of Romania. In March 1918, Republic of Moldova from today, which was occupied since 1812 by the Russians, asked for the reunion with Romania, which was granted. And then at the end of 1918, they finally, after about 800 years, 900 years, since the times of the Dacians, the Romanians were for the first time reunited in between the same frontiers. And here, on all this place that you can see it along of the railroad, on this side, also along of the train station, it was made a huge cemetery where were buried all the soldiers which were killed in that. Oh, now it's okay. Okay, thank you, Michela. I don't know what's happened. I don't know what's happened. Okay, so here was a very big cemetery along of the railroad with all those 250. Here we have a monument with an eagle, which is the symbol of the courage and of the immortality of the people, which carried this text, which says, "The country grateful to his sons." And also, don't fear about your heroes, but sing a song in thanks their courage and their fame. The idea is that this, it says here, was built by Captain Yorga Ioan from cavalry. Actually, it was a little scam because this captain found this monument built for the German army, and he actually used it into the cemetery of the Romanian soldiers. As you can see around of the monument, we have some cannonballs. I can use it, but are not cannonballs. Are some modern projectiles of after 1950, when Brașov starting to spread. Yeah, it's an incoming call. My little son doesn't know that I'm live with you. I'm sorry for that, Michela. So after 1950, when they built this big intersection and all these buildings, they were forced to take out all the bodies of the soldiers and move it into a special military near this area, and everything which remained, it was only the monument and couple of tombstones belonging to one of the soldiers which died in battle in that September 1916. Also, as a very important detail, is the fact that this is my neighborhood. I was born and raised about 5 minutes walking from here. If you look between that house, those two buildings, into the back, you can see a block painted in reds and beige, which is the block where I born and lived for about 25 years from my life. Then I was moved in the same area, and now I'm living in Gimbav, which is about 7 minutes by the car away from here. So this is an area which I knew it pretty well. That's the story about the St. Bartholomew Church and about the Trench of Death, as I said. An area where Vlad the Impaler Dracula impaled people many times. A place where the Mongol invasion, the Turkish invasion, and the Great War create a lot of fights, create a lot of death, which also is the first place of Brașov where the Germans were settled when they came here into the 13th century at the beginning to settle and to foundate the future city of Brașov, which is now the center of the Romanian tourism, and to build this beautiful church called St. Bartholomew. I hope you like the story and the visit into the oldest building of my city, and I'm waiting for you to. Thank you, Helen. You're welcome. I'm waiting for you to follow me on the other tours. Tonight I will have a very special tour because it's not a real tour. I will filming it on my laptop. It's something that I have done for some of my tourists, my real tourists, like 6 years ago. Thank you, Diana and Michela. And I have done for them a tour which is recreating a Romanian wedding. And some of my tourists were dressed in the traditional costumes of the Romanians from Transylvania. And I recreate the wedding with all the traditions, with all the moments, especially for them. And for you, if you will attend tomorrow at the end of this week, I will be in two very important cities of Transylvania, in Sighișoara, which is the city where Dracula was born, and in Sibiu, which is a beautiful Baroque city, which also is connected somehow with Dracula because his son, Mihnea, was killed and buried inside of that city. Yeah, very impatient son. I will talk to you this weekend. I have two very and I will meet you there. Now I will turn off the live now, and I'm hurried to talk with my son, which is really impatient. I have to teach him a lesson about that. Thank you very much to all of you. I wish you a good evening, a good day, and a good night as usual. And I hope that you will follow me on the other tours which I'll have it at the end of this week. Bye bye, and God bless you all.